Hi everyone, good to be back here again. It's exciting and always good that will bring you trending, exciting, reliable, and authentic happenings in Nigeria and more. And of course, we know that Edo State election is taking different shapes at the moment. And right here, it is about Inec and what they have prepared for the election because they said despite appeal court's verdict, Inec says Edo election will stand. And as if that is not enough, they also have called the youths of Edo State together and gave them a stern warning. And all of this will be brought to you shortly. But before then, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Yes, your thumbs up means that you like this video. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because that is the only way you get notified anytime we drop a new video. All right, guys, without wasting much of your time, let us dive right into the details of the news. As it says, despite the likely legal threat posed by the Court of Appeal verdict on the registration of parties, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has said it would not postpone the September 19 governorship election in Edo State. Doing this, it said, could lead to a constitutional crisis. The commission also said out of 14 items in the preparation for the governorship election, 9 of them had been implemented. The commission also justified why it deregistered some political parties, explaining that they had no verifiable addresses, which some of them traced to business centers. The appellate court declared the deregistration of political parties by INEC as nullity, but the commission, however, said it would challenge the ruling at the Supreme Court, claiming the appellate court had contradicted its earlier judgment where it upheld INEC's action. Featuring on Channels Television Morning Rise program on Wednesday, the INEC National Commissioner for Information and Chairman of Voter Education, Festus Okoye, said the forthcoming governorship polls stand as announced as the participating political parties had complied with INEC's notice over threats of violence. INEC is progressively moving ahead with the September 19 governorship election. There are 14 items for the election, and 9 of them have been implemented and non-sensitive materials have been deployed. We are proceeding with the election as planned. The political parties on their own are complying with the Commission's warning on violence, and we have also observed a change from the threat of violence. So, we are moving ahead with the election, Okoye stated. The INEC National Commissioner also said there would be constitutional crisis if the election was postponed because Section 178, subsection 2 stated the timeline for the election to be conducted. The Edo State governorship election, he said, must be conducted before October 13th, or else there would be a constitutional crisis. Okoye said political parties were pulling out of their threats of violence, and INEC is therefore going ahead with the governorship election as planned. On the registration of political parties, Okoye said in November 2019 the commission wrote the political parties but discovered they had no verifiable addresses. When INEC put a telephone call to the registered telephone numbers, we discovered that the telephone lines were ringing as telephone lines of some business centers, and some of them have no verifiable office addresses, he said. Further to this, the INEC chief said most of the political parties were deregistered because they did not meet the constitutional requirements of Section 225A, which states that any political party that did not score a 25% vote in one local government election or 25% in any local government during a governorship election is a breach of the law. He said the law states that it should be on votes scored by the political parties and not the capacity to win votes, insisting that capacity to win votes is futuristic, while the extant laws is insisting on actual votes scored. Okoye denied knowledge that INEC deregistered some of the political parties in question, despite court action of INEC not to do so. He similarly faulted the claim that the electoral body deregistered any political party that was in any tribunal challenging the outcome of any election. INEC allowed for a full cycle of tribunals to be finished before it commenced the deregistration processes of the defaulting political parties. He said there was no record before it that one of the registered political parties the Kowa party had any record of winning any councillor in any part of the country, explaining that the commission would make the necessary corrections if presented a factual and verifiable evidence. Obviously, the Inec commissioner in Edo State have actually denied the knowledge that Inec deregistered some of the political parties in question despite court action for Inec not to do so. He also faulted the claim that the electoral body deregistered any political party that was in any tribunal challenging the outcome of any election. He said what is most important to them right now is that the Edo State shouldn't be violent in the course of this election, that it is very important for every one of them to seek peace as the election goes by. The INEC National Commissioner also said there would be a constitutional crisis if the election was postponed because Section 178 subsection 2 stated a timeline for the election to be conducted. He said so the Edo State governorship election must be conducted before October 13th or else there will be constitutional crisis. And of course, they're trying to avoid any form of crisis in this very election that is to come in Edo State and Ondo State, respectively. They also made it clear that to promote democracy, that we must promote peace in Edo. We have started seeing untoward activities by political actors and operators. The youth are more vulnerable to be used for electoral violence. If we want free, fair, credible, and peaceful election in Edo State, come September 19, the youth must shun violence during the campaigns and the polls. The politicians should also avoid offensive language in their jingles and campaigns and to deepen democracy, the election must be devoid of violence. Yes, by INEC said all of that to both the electorate and to the candidates and all supporters of both parties and all parties of the Edo State forthcoming election, because really that is the most important thing right now. Peace is the most important and should not be taken for granted. Anyone that wants to cause violence in the state should be arrested immediately, because of course the election will be over and properties and lives will be lost for no just cause. So it is very important that everyone embrace peace and ensure that the election goes on very smoothly. So guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. Don't forget to drop your comments and your likes. I really appreciate your time here so far. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you so much for being here. Do have a pleasant time. Bye.